TK, come pana pana pop. We don't want bad news, pana pana pop. Only good news, pana pana pop. With the news, pana tap, pana pana. With the news, pana tap, pana pana. Yeah, you know, because I always put the good news at the bottom. So we want good news up. Welcome back to Sunrise. If you're just joining us this morning, welcome. It is the right time to be here because we're heading over to our headlines queen. We call her TK.
Her name is TK,
hey.
Our news anchor. Okay, we need to stop. Please. In case you didn't know, it's actually Wednesday, right?
It's Wednesday.
It's the day for it. It's the day for it.
It's the day.
Great morning. Happy first Wednesday.
Yes.
All right, we're going to jump right in. Yes, I'm sure that we heard about this, so let's just continue with a follow-up here. Minister Vaz bans ride-sharing apps like InDrive and Uber amid ride-share concerns. So a special blend of affordability and convenience has given rise in popularity to ride-hailing and ride-sharing applications in Jamaica. The modern infusion has, however, been married to unfavorable ordeals, including murders and robberies. It's why such a service, at least for the next year, will be banned effective immediately. In March last year, 37-year-old Devroy Peart responded to an InDrive taxi charter request. His vehicle was trailed and he and his 2 passengers were killed. 2 months later, on May 14, 26-year-old Leroy Page was carrying out InDrive services when he disappeared. Since then, there have been several reports of robberies and assaults connected to the transnational ride-sharing app. The latest came on Monday when skeletal remains believed to be those of missing teacher Daniel Anglin were found. The police say it appears she employed the services of an InDrive operator who then killed her and dumped her body in Clarendon. And that's why Transport Minister Darrell Vaz today called for the immediate ban on all ride-sharing apps locally. He says Cable and Wireless Jamaica Limited and its local affiliates are directed to restrict access through its network to Uber, InDrive, 876 On The Go, Lyft, and Ride Jamaica. He also shares that for at least the time now, the ministry has been attempting to engage all stakeholders in the subsector, but notes only one international provider responded favorably. A meeting is to be held this week with local ride-sharing service providers, and the minister says he'll go to the end of the world to ensure the ban is not just enacted, but enforced.
Whoa.
I'm curious to know why it wasn't direct. I mean, immediately we just listed out a few incidents that had to do with a particular company. Why it wasn't just dealt with for that company? Why the whole ride share?
Yeah. I thought about that, and I'm wondering if the thought could be that to get rid of one would probably just make the
equity,
the problem people just transfer to another one.
So really the issue is that whatever protocol policies are in place before you even become a ride sharing driver, those things should have been in place a long time ago before we're even here. And because I'm hearing things like where you can't track cars or you can't see certain information that maybe you would if you were in a different country. So I guess those things do need to be ironed out. But again, it's a case of this should have been done before this was allowed to happen here. But because a lot of people do use the ride-sharing apps, and it works for a lot of people. And incidents has really been with a particular company. And so I just think it's kind of a broad wash again, a broad stroke that maybe doesn't need to be that way. But
And the truth is, those kinds of services are so crucial to business, to people's livelihood every single day, for the drivers, for those who are the operators, but also for the persons who use the services. When I first met with the Uber, for example, I thought it was pretty safe because you know the license plate, the license plate of the driver, you know the car, the color, the driver's number, and you can see when the car is. I mean, it is the system that is in place is so designed for safety. So now that I'm hearing this, I'm saying you're right. The background checks prior to, rather than us being reactive, you should be proactive and just make sure that those things are in place.
But just also keep in mind the fact that these are international companies that come with their processes and their procedures and their, and these situations, I'm sure, don't happen everywhere. So it's not like the government. It's not like it's the government's plans and company and things. They kind of just
but we should still also have guidelines in place to ensure that certain things, meaning fine, I understand that, like anything else, if there's a franchise, there are certain, things that we have to follow, but there are also things that make sense. You know, like
it's just unfortunate. As usual, the good now must suffer for the bad.
But can I say
and
this?
the persons who were making, you know, some additional income or some, you know,
I want to take this strict hand though as well with just all drivers who are not doing what they're supposed to do as well. Like, I mean, let us get on top of all of the crazy driving and drivers on the road as well. Like, let's take that same firm hand.
Yes. But all right, let's go to the Why Not Wednesday headline. Idaho man moves water by hand for Guinness World Record. An Idaho man finally broke the Guinness World Record for the most water moved by the hands in 30 seconds after attempting and failing to take the title for 5 years. Serial record breaker David Lush said he attempted the record multiple times over the course of 5 years, but his attempts were frequently disqualified. Rush had to use only his hands to transfer water from a bucket to a pitcher placed a meter or 3.28 feet away. He successfully took the record by transferring 3.23 milliliters, which is 112.4 ounces, from one container to the other in the allotted 30 seconds. So the title brought Rush's total of concurrently held records to 174. It's 174 records for him, one here. So he is on a quest to make it to 181 concurrently held records to surpass fellow serial record breaker Silvio Saba, whose total is 180.
He can't bother. He can't bother.
If he's married, I like to talk to his wife. So talk to me. I mean,
what is this about? Imagine him at practice with that in the yard. Me just say, sir, where really I do? Where really I do?
No,
so you're telling me that this world record has to do with him from moving water from one something to another something
in 30 seconds.
So I'm so confused.
He did it the fastest in the entire world.
My mother would have said, I go.
Bad. Okay, I mean, I guess you can have a world record for anything. I'm going to figure out a world record for myself. Yeah,
I'm
going to do something. Yeah,
yes,
I'm going to do something.
We'll brainstorm.
Yeah,
and I'm excited about that.
It's going to be stopping silly world records.
I don't know how that's going to work, but
silly world records.
I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll make it happen. Congratulations, though, Mr. Hand Water Mover Guy. You know, we're happy for you here in Jamaica.
I hand it to you. I mean.
No.
See what you did there. Anyway, let's move to the next one, people. So in this World Environment Day special from the United Nations Development Programme, learn how Jamaica is contributing to the worldwide mission to keep global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Whew, sounds like it's important stuff to me. So over the next few minutes, we'll learn about the national commitments, progress, and the role for the public. This is Jamaica's Climate Promise.
Across the earth, governments and people are uniting with singularity of purpose to tackle a dangerous rise in global temperature. Emissions from our vehicles, industries, and power plants are producing the effects of a greenhouse by trapping heat on our planet. We must work to reduce these global warming emissions to ensure the best chance of limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. This means giving up on some conventional ways we live and produce in exchange for greener, sustainable practices.
Jamaica is fully on board. As a signatory to the Paris Agreement, Jamaica has set ambitious targets in our National Determined Contribution, NDCs. As the lead agency coordinating Jamaica's NDC and climate change program, we are fully determined to step up the transition plans for clean energy, energy efficiency, sustainable forest management, and water distribution.
This is our promise to work with Jamaicans to revolutionize the way we live and do business so that we make a contribution, however small, to slowing, stopping, and reversing rising temperatures. Our transition must be fair, just, and equitable, leaving no one behind.
Jamaica has promised to embrace the power of clean energy to increasingly replace fossil fuels, which are among the biggest sources of pollutants driving global warming. We pledge to improve Jamaica's ability to distribute and store energy from renewable sources like sun, wind, and water, through improvements to the national grid. And when it comes to transmission and distribution, our electricity loss is being reduced by strengthening our systems. Our promise is to foster increased use of biodiesel in homes, industries, agriculture, and transportation.
And to increase the use of clean energy in powering major sources of global warming emissions like our bauxite refineries.
We made a promise to upgrade streetlights with energy-efficient LED bulbs and traffic and pedestrian sensors, as well as the installation of devices and training to manage traffic congestion. We commit to introducing low-carbon public transport buses to cut global warming emissions generated by the transport sector. Government commits to improving energy efficiency and conservation across all public sector facilities. For example, at the Ministry of Education and Youth and at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We're committed to reducing consumption of electricity by converting all bulbs to energy-efficient lighting in all our public facilities and promoting energy conservation among users.
Our promise at the Forestry Department is to ensure no less than 30% of our land is covered by forests and to increase our forest cover by 2% over the next 10 years. More trees means we can absorb more carbon dioxide, a major global warming gas. More shade trees also mean we can reduce the surrounding temperatures, thereby helping to cool down Jamaica.
Our promise at the National Water Commission is to improve access to safe and potable supplies of water and to improve energy efficiency in the water sector. This will include addressing water losses while improving distribution of water to our customers.
And we, the public, must also play our part.
Fellow Jamaicans, let's promise to plant more trees,
use LED bulbs, and conserve on energy.
carpool,
Hold our government and people accountable for our climate promise.
We must ask ourselves this critical question. Would we be okay if future temperatures became even hotter?
Our climate promise is a commitment to ourselves and future generations to live in a habitable world where we can thrive and survive.
Together, united in this global movement for revolutionary change, we can pave the way for a brighter and cooler future for Jamaica and our planet. This is our promise.